Hello and welcome everyone to live stream. I'm so used to being on Patreon doing these lives and saying Tiny Table Talk live stream, but this is just a live stream. We're supposed to talk about All Stars 4. Clearly, I had no idea that the challenge was going to release season 40, the cast list, some of the cast photos that may or may not be AI generated. But yeah, clearly I had no clue, no idea that we were just going to get this dump for season 40 right in front of us. I mean, who would have saw? Who would have saw that coming? I mean, I know it's a momentous occasion, but we just finished out All Stars season 4. Normally they have like a month hype bringing it up. It's just weird. It's just a weird situation. And when I saw that coming back from the gym, I saw the announcement and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, all right. We're here. We're doing this. I still have to talk about All Stars 4. I'll be honest, I spent all morning making a PowerPoint presentation um for this, and then all of a sudden we had a season 40 drop in front of us. So we will stick to talking about All Stars 4, wrapping it up. I still want to get through all the results for the Google form that everybody filled out. I really, really appreciate everybody who filled out that form. And we will still get into All Stars and then season 40. I had this idea that we would be 90 minutes on All Stars 4 at most. Now I'm going to cut it down to an hour and then we'll get into some season 40. I will be putting out a cast reveal video early tomorrow. I've been working on it ever since I got home from the gym. I filmed it. I started work on it. And it should be up by tomorrow morning. But first, I just want to say hey to everybody. Thank you for joining me on a Monday, June 24th. If you're watching this live, if you're not watching this live, you missed out. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for being here. And I just want to see who's here and just want to say hey to some of the people that are here. We got Chris. You spent some special time on this thumbnail. It was not my best work, I should say. Welcome in, Lovable Nikki. Thank you for being here. Welcome in. We have Demetria. Thank you for being here. Thana, SR. Hello, lovely people. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. Bet the show will be better than the finale. Season 40. I think you're hopefully it will be. Hey y'all, here to support Drew and the rest of the bakery Patreon members. Well, thank you for being here, Arno. Part of the bakery for a while now. Anyone else stoked for season 40? I bet you a lot of people are stoked, even more so after how this final ended. Man. But yes, please, no spoilers whatsoever for season 40 and or All Stars 5. No spoilers whatsoever for future seasons. We'll be talking All Stars 4 tonight, as well as we'll dip our toes into the cast of season 40 and go into the photos and everything. But please, no spoilers. We do have some moderators in the chat to help out with keeping the chat chill. Welcome in, Julia. Thank you for being here. Thank you. So All Stars 4 was very, very interesting, to say the least. I think it had so much high potential, and it just did not work out well. It just did not land the finale, in my opinion. And to me, that's a lot to deal with it, because if you're watching a season and the ending isn't worth it, how much are you going to rewatch the entire season over again? I mean, there were some high moments or some peak moments, especially in the beginning of the season. I think the cast was really, really good. But then it started to slowly dwindle down. My problem is, and I want to talk about this first, is that the timeline for All Stars 4, I think, greatly hindered how good of a season it could have been. As we can see from this Vevmo post, that January 13th was the departure date, which was Friday the 13th. I think we all should have taken that as a possible sign of what's to come. And I just want to talk about what was going on around January 2023. I know it doesn't seem that long ago, but if you really look at it, Way of the Water was number one in the box office. Megan was second. We have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. We remember that got a huge promotion on the challenge. A Man Called Otto seems like a lifetime ago. Also, around that time, Everything Everywhere All at Once swept the Oscars, Anti-Hero, and all these other top the Billboard 100. I mean, 453 days was difference from departure date to premiere date, which is unheard of in reality TV. And I just want to say, in reality TV, timing matters. There's so much that happens on a challenge season, on a season in general, that you wasted a year of getting into the drama. And by the time all of this drama was now being watched, we have podcasts being recorded back in January and February of this year. People are talking about the Challenge 39 season like it's still a thing. I mean, Jasmine in her Challenge official podcast was talking about who she liked from the Challenge 39. Like, date yourself, why don't you? And then people are getting on podcasts and they barely can remember some of this stuff. They have major life events that happen. Cam had another baby in between getting off of All Stars 4 to doing a podcast with who knows who. It's like we missed a grand opportunity to really sulk in and really dip into all of the drama that was brought in by All Stars 4. And I think that majorly hindered because a lot of these storylines we already saw the end of it. If you're an avid Reddit post person, or if you just go there occasionally, listen to podcasts, are on social media, even if you don't know every little detail, you know something that came up that had nothing to do with anything. Jay on the podcast, on the actual season, said that he was engaged and now he's not engaged anymore. Nicole and Laurel are not a thing anymore, which we will get into. I just think that the timing of everything greatly hindered the enjoyment of this season in the real time. I mean, the biggest drama that hit outside of the season was a daggone baby shower and Cara versus Cam and Leroy, and whose pictures are in the refrigerator and who's getting ready to who got who what a $30 baby monitor, or if they went out for spa days or not. Like, it's crazy that that was the biggest thing that came out of it rather than stuff that actually happened. I mean, Laurel's on the Bananas podcast, like deflecting and not wanting to talk details about stuff that happened after the season because she had a year to try to get over it. And now she's reliving it and having people post about it and DM her about it. And I'm sure it's just not very fun for her. So I think that mainly like destroys everything. Yeah. Not the baby shower, pictures in the fridge. I said the wrong thing. I meant pictures on the fridge. But yeah, it's but yeah, that is true. We all saw the Nicole and Laurel mess play out on Challenge 39 reunion. I mean, not even that. I mean, we're gonna get more into that. But yeah, it's like even if you have eyeballs, you know that wasn't going to work out between Nicole and Laurel, but you could have heard something like, oh, they've already split. Or if you're like deep into the weeds, like for me, and dive into all the different social media aspects, which I did again, which I did it. And we're gonna look into some of these past tweets because I thought I remembered everything, and I don't remember everything. And it was more tumultuous than I had previously remembered, but now nobody wants to talk about this at all. There is no wanting to talk about it. It feels like a lifetime ago. It's wild. Um, I, but yeah, the hip hop area reveal had me shook. I mean, shout out to Keefla. I want to see Kifla back so bad. Um, but let's move on to the timeline. Now, this is what got me about the timeline between All Stars 4 and when everything. So the departure date again was early January of 2023. By the time that the departure date was happening and people were getting ready to film, we have season 38, a third of season 38 that still had to premiere, that still had to go on. Then a week after that, World Championship happened. Then there was like a couple of months break until USA 2 happened. Then a week between that for Battle for a New Champion, which also in the middle of that is home turf, to until we finally get to All Stars 4 premiere. We have about three and a third season and a break in between of storylines, narratives that have come and gone, as well as people getting over whatever drama that is happening now. I mean, this is ridiculous. To me, I thought it was when I was researching this, I thought it was only like USA 2 and Battle for a New Champion was in between the departure date and All Stars 4. I had no idea World Championship and season 38 also happened. This was a lot. This is a lot to bypass and for the producers just to keep going, just to keep on chugging along. But why the delay? Well, many major theories say the writer strike that happened between July 14th and November 9th of 2023, which I don't doubt had some impact on why the season was like pushed back a little bit. I mean, they were playing Yellowstone on CBS, like 4 hours of Yellowstone at night after buddy games. Like, of course, they were like that, but at the same time, you can see how, like, where are they going to fit in All Stars 4 in between everything that was coming out? Well, maybe they were worried about how people would receive season 39. Look how bad these ratings are. It was not just bad, it was the lowest of the low the challenge has ever seen in ratings. And knowing how hyped people were for All Stars 4, Kara's return, Kara and Laurel on the same season, Laurel and Nicole on the same season, Rachel's on the season, the reunion of the Mean Girls Alliance. There's so Killer Cam and Leroy are back on it. Like, there's so many different storylines, and people are so hyped that they're like, we'll wait after season 39. But also, I think that a lot of people now, for sure, we know now that a lot of people that were on this season, and not all of them are shown here, a lot of people that were on All Stars 4 is going to be on season 40. So why have season 40 come out like 8 to 9 months before being revealed onto season 40 with season 39 in between? It just gets too gunked up and people are like, "Well, do I remember All Stars 4? That seems like a lifetime ago. That seems like 40 years ago." Hey, we'll put All Stars 4 closer to season 40 and get people hyped up from all the storylines that happened, and boom. So that's what I think. I don't think it's mainly uh the writer strike. I think there was a lot more uh thought process that went on with this. I want to get to the drama of this season as well. The main one we had to endure was Laurel and Nicole, where on the Bananas pod recently, Laurel said she was only looking for a fling with Nicole, which, come on now. Who is really buying that? Who's really buying that? This was well after, in March of 2023, where they are seen together and Nicole is wearing the Laurel necklace. All right, that doesn't seem like a fling at all to me. Then they're posting pictures with each other after the season, and then boom, they're going. Then this all just comes to a head. It was all good until it wasn't. And then this is around season 39's reunion. You have Nicole with somebody else, Laurel posting pictures with Melissa. This was around 6 to 4 months ago. So this is where it changed. And you can see it doesn't look good from here where Laurel goes into Nicole's Instagram, not into her Instagram, but on her one of her posts saying that she hopes she's not being unfaithful, secretly unfaithful to this new woman in her life. Nicole calls Laurel unhinged, and you never call Laurel unhinged, because things get really, really bad. We find out that there was some skippity doodah happening between apparently Nicole and Jack's sister upon Jack's sister's wedding in Italy. A phone was quote unquote stolen or taken. And Laurel confirms in an Instagram comment that everything that was rumored to have happened had happened. It does not get better from there. As yeah, like I said, Laurel walks away with Nicole's phone. Nicole says that she stole it. Laurel is, I'm not getting into every single detail, but these are the things that are happening while we're waiting for this season to happen. And if you're sitting there waiting for the season to happen, seeing all, now you're saying, I've seen the ending. This is like a Tarantino movie. Now we're seeing the ending before we see everything that transpired. So everything we transpired and how much we're going to see of it, and how much Laurel is defending Nicole, and how toxic this relationship is, and it makes you, it doesn't make for an enjoyable experience when you're sitting there trying to watch the episodes knowing this is not going to end well. I've already seen how this is going to end up very poorly, and the challenge just keeps on pushing it and pushing it and pushing it in front of our faces, and it's like, yo, I don't want to see this anymore. We're done. Let's move on. I don't want to see this. And so it's just frustrating. I think it's just more frustrating than anything. And it just, you had a year to cook this edit up. You had a year to get it all settled. You had a year to know the storylines. And it's just now 453 days later, it's totally washed. It's totally over. It's old news. We should be moving on. But it just gets worse. It gets worse. It gets so much worse when Laurel says that she's going to send certain videos to Nicole's employer, trying to possibly get her terminated. This is not just over a fling. This does not just happen. But I totally understand where Laurel is coming from, where she doesn't want to talk about this. And and she just wants to move on. So it just makes it frustrating because we're living the past in the present. We're seeing what's being shown on the edit, and this is such a weird concept because we we never had to wait 453 days into wherever. We don't have to wait that long to see a season. So when we see a season, it's like, oh, that must be a couple of months ago. But it's not. It's this happened over a year ago. So when we want to listen to the official podcast or your Challenge Mania, well, Challenge Mania is now, but still, they're talking about events that happened way after that with seasons in between this season. And it's just like, this is, nobody wants to talk about it, or nobody can remember it because they've already gotten over it. And I think that's where it's frustrating that we're living now. We want answers, but nobody wants to talk about it because they've already lived it, already got over it, or it's too touchy to talk about it. And to me, that makes this even less enjoyable because I don't know. I want more answers. I want people to talk about it, but nobody wants to talk about it. Laurel doesn't have any ill will towards Cara. She said in the Bananas podcast that she just wishes her well. They seem to be cool on the challenge reunion on season 39. Cam seemed to be cool with Cara until she brought up the baby shower. And it's such a weird juxtaposition because it feels like you're living in an alternate reality where we're watching people have problems with each other, have these beefs with each other, and then nothing. And then when they do talk about it, they're just like, yeah, I'm just living life. We've been here for a year. I'm cool. This is how we're doing it. She wanted me to call Paulie. I didn't call him. whatever, she was kind of mad about it. And that's it. And it's ridiculous. I think it took so much helium, it took so much air out of just enjoying the season outside of the season. And I just feel like it just was meh afterwards. We had to sit there and watch them rekindle for weeks, knowing they aren't together anymore, having some knowledge of them breaking up in a very heated way. Nobody really talks about it because it was so long ago. Same thing with the Ayana versus Janelle. That happens. This whole thing happens. We hear from T accounts like Gamer Vev right when it happened in January of 2023, stating exactly what was being said about it, but we couldn't talk. There was no talking about it. I mean, Janelle went on Zach Nichols' podcast, and you have to pay for that to hear what she had to say. And I mean, Ayana is going through a lot now, and she went through a lot. And then when she went to social media, she said it was a year ago. I can't really remember it. So now we're just sitting here being like, I guess we'll just never know. It just stinks that everything happened the way it did, but the edit was wonky, and then everybody's just kind of like moved on from it. It led to somebody walking away. It ended with somebody leaving the season, taking themselves, as it was that big of a deal. But everybody's just like, whatever, the Cam versus Cara thing, as I said, the biggest drama that came out of this was the baby shower, not anything that really happened over the season. And yeah, I'm not going to go into the baby shower drama. I'm so over this baby shower. I hate it so much. But yeah, there's just so much going on. And now Cara and Paulie could be. Who thinks that this is real? Who thinks that they're actually having this was Cyrus is not catching a straight. This is from my I was looking for pictures with Cara and Cam together, and I cropped one of my own thumbnails from this episode. So yeah. It's not Cyrus. I just posted Cyrus. But yeah, now there's talks of Cara unfollowing Paulie and what happened to their relationship. Now this comes out late last week that they're working things out amid split rumors and everything, and it's just it's ridiculous. It's just a lot. Now I will say I did mention a lot of like cons. I do think that there's a lot of good things that happened. Um, but but it's one of those things where so many little things where you think about the drama, you think about, did I get enough information outside of the cast? Because that's what the whole point of the Challenge Official podcast and all these other podcasts are for. I even talked to some people like Keefla and Brandon, and they seem to be very knowledgeable and remember everything, but not everybody is going to be that way. On top of not only that, but there was a lot of people from this season that was gone because season 40 went to go air or to film. And so there was a lot of people on that season, and it stunk that you couldn't reach out to anybody and like get any answers. And then All Stars 5 happened, and people from this season or season 40 went straight over to there. And it's like, it's just a lot. It's just a lot, like little things that I felt like they could have done better for the experience of inside and outside the season, especially the editing. I thought was a little disappointing in certain areas. If you had over a year to get the edit correct, why wouldn't you? It just seemed like they overcooked the edit in some ways, and it made too many things very confusing, in my opinion. But they did a lot of good things. I was happy with this season in the very beginning, and then I think slowly it started to unravel for me. But yeah, that was a lot of what I already prepped. So now I kind of want to go over some of the things that were happening in the chat to see what was going on. Welcome in, Genuine Beauty. Uh, let Paulie be his free self. Yeah, I mean, if they are actually splitting up, I feel like they should have time for themselves doing their own thing. But yeah, who knows? The last time we saw, they were talking about being in an open relationship. It's gonna be interesting what's gonna happen, but who knows? Welcome in, Misha. Thank you for being here. Uh, Car, our, Car and Paulie ain't breaking up. I totally understand that. According to the article I read, Paulie said that they are separated but working on things. Okay, so at least they're working on things. I know that they're supposed to be doing a live recording of the Zach Nichols podcast in San Diego, I believe, in California. Zach just reposted that on his Instagram story, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw that on Reddit. So that got some people confused on whether they were actually broken up or not. But yeah. Welcome in, Ben. Apparently they're talking it out. I saw something today. Sweet deal. At least they're working on it. But it's so crazy to be first of all, it's crazy to be doing a relationship in public, and then somebody going through your like follows and unfollows to like see exactly who you followed day to day. I think that's also, this all sparked from somebody looking at who follows whom and noticing that. But I'm sure they looked at it after seeing that Kara was deleting some of their couples pictures. So I guess it's not that crazy of a thing. I just was like, wow, somebody actually looked through everything. Um uh Welcome in. You didn't miss anything. What the shell? So thank you for being here. Welcome in. You haven't missed anything because I have not gone live in quite some time. So thank you for being here. Uh, what is happening? You know the saying, once a cheater, dot, dot, dot. Poor Steve was so close. I want to know exactly how close he was. Because there's a lot of different things being thrown out there now that was Cara Maria, who says that she asked a production assistant how close everything was, and they said 10 to 15 minutes. Laura on a comment in Instagram said that she was over 30 minutes waiting for Cara, and then even longer waiting for Steve. And then Cara saying that Laurel was begging production to not edit it to make it look close. It's interesting. I just wish the edit was a little bit better. I wish that final was a lot a bit better. To be fair, that star loop still has me confused in some aspects. Why did we have to watch them go around the same loop doing the same exact? I think that was a trick to make the editing a little bit easier to cut how they wanted it to look. I mean, if you put people in a room by themselves, I think it's so much easier to cut around and make it look like how you want it to, instead of like how finals normally run. And I think that's a real big theory that I have with this final and the way it was. Yes, they wanted to make it to where anybody could have won, but at the same time, with the star advantage, as well as doing the same kind of things over and over and over again, it can make you confused. It made me confused, but it can make you see, they can edit different shots the way they wanted to. Oh, them drinking this frog juice on loop 2 looks great because we don't have one of them drinking it on loop 2, but we can use the one from loop 4 to make it seem like, oh, they're really close with each other or something like that. Not saying that they weren't close or Steve wasn't close. I just think they did it more for the editing purposes than actual entertainment purposes. Why are we hammering nails in a stump in like the final? That's a legit final game, is hammering nails into a stump, rolling a ball down a ramp with tiki. I still don't understand why everything was decorated in tikis when everything else was star everything throughout the entire season. Stars were everywhere, and somehow tikis just show up randomly in the final. Like, what? Make it make sense. You don't think you can make it make sense. That's crazy. Remember when they pretend? That's why I'm asking if people actually think it's real, because I made that Cara Maria doc. Part 3 had extensive work on her and Paulie's relationship, and I really leaned into them pretending and wanting to take out the trolls because the trolls get things wrong or whatever. But you guys said you were done. You made posts saying that you were done. What are you doing to the trolls? You're just torturing your own fans at that point. But yeah, that's why that's why I did not want to like jump in on everything with the drama that recently happened with them possibly being broken up. I was like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for I'm not going to say a single word about this. I am waiting. And then not saying that they were making it up, but they're trying to work it out. So it's like, nah, officially they're completely over with each other, which I mean, they seemed really, really good with each other. So, and Cara seemed really genuinely happy compared to her previous relationships that came from the show. But I also think that maybe just don't date somebody from reality TV, even though that's what she mainly does. So it was really hard to find somebody outside of reality TV when you're doing so many seasons over and over and over again. But yeah, I think we would all prefer a Kara and CT podcast versus all these other ones. I mean, yeah, that would be incredible. But at the same time, Kara and Paulie started a podcast, and now that's pretty much probably done and over with. So I don't know if I want to. I want them to stay friends, and I just think that CT. I think he wants to be doing other things. He's supposed to be on Worst Cooks in America, I heard. So we'll see how that's all going to play out. Um, we actually need new editors badly, ones that actually show the drama. I would love it. You know what? Sign me up. Put my name in the hat. I will edit 48 hours worth of I'll add 48 I'll do it. I'll edit 48 72 hours worth of content for you challenge, raw footage, and just give me a nice soundtrack library and I'll be ready to go, you know. I'm totally down. Um I heard that he's banned, but I don't think so. He just had a producer, somebody from the challenge that actually worked on the show for a while, Woody, somebody named Woody, and he just had him on his podcast. So I don't know if he's actually banned or not, but that's what I've heard, that people on the crew did not like him. And also he had some very bad experiences, especially on the last season he was on, 34. He had some really bad times. So I don't think he's ready to go back. I don't think they want him to come back, I guess. Yeah, there's some notable missing guys and gals from season 40. Music editors were on point. They deserve a raise. Yeah, not all editors are bad. I think the sound design people were incredible. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that one, Shay. Welcome in, Val. Thank you for being here. Thank you. First live. Well, welcome in. This is my first live in quite a while. But yeah, it's literally weird for people to get, hey, people do it, and you know what? It got a lot. It got a lot going, you know. It got a lot of people talking. It got a lot of Reddit karma, you know. So it to me, it's not my cup of tea, but hey, it got us a ton of information. It got us talking. It got on Entertainment Weekly. By goodness, it got us on Entertainment Weekly talking about everything. Um, mhm. I don't know. I would have liked. See, here's the thing, and I said this in a short that I put up today over when I was doing a live for the Nullified Take channel with Kahuna. It's Chris's channel. Please go check him out if you like Survivor and the challenge and traders and everything. But I'm sick. I'm sick of the challenge playing into friendships. The whole point of having a social game is to make sure you don't go, like, it's already an inherent advantage, and it just feels like the challenge is like seeing the Vacation Alliance, and they're like, whoa, people can have social games. That seems pretty important. Like, it just dinged on them one day that, oh, social games are really important. Oh, we should like give them incentives for having friendships and social games when it was already an advantage. If you're coming in with a ton of friends, you have help with the votes if there are votes. If a ton of your friends win, you're going to be safe. You don't have to go into elimination. Why then are we putting so many incentives of when you're actually in the final? Why are we putting that as like a motivator to help out? You know? Why are we handing out stars in the final? A final is to test yourself, especially in a solo game. Why are people handing out stars when eliminated when this is a solo game? We've been told all throughout the process. Then again, we were told throughout the entire season that there would only be 6 stars and you had to go in and get your star in an elimination. Well, that was all a farce because you could get it outside of an elimination. Yeah, you only have 1 in 3 chance unless you're Laurel and you have like 85% chance going up against Flora, who just walks away, and then Avery, who can't paddle a little raft. And it's just frustrating that the social game is to help you through the game itself. But when you get into the final, especially a final that is individual, that is a solo final, there should be no more help. We're done. You can take your star home with you when you lose. You should not be giving out party favors and fun packs to friends on your way out from getting the boot from this season. And that was really frustrating. I had one real big critique about the season is the star thing at the end. I know a lot of people, that's not a hot take. Everybody, which I'm going to be doing a hot takes video in July. But I know that's not a hot take, but it's the one point that it really frustrates me. And we've seen this on the challenge before where it's like, hey, CT and Casey, you won. You have the option of handing the money you earned to your friends that helped get you here. That if you don't give them money, that's an incentive for them to target you next season. So that way you can get the boot. But they helped you get here. So would you like to pay them some money? Because we're not going to do it. We're not going to set aside money to help out and everything. And we're going to make you give up some of the money you earned to give to your friends. And then the very next season, Devin and Tori, unprovoked, just goes, hey, you guys want some money? Everybody here helped us, so we'll just hand out money. And hopefully everybody moving forward, aka, hey, everybody who's in this final with me, if anybody, let's all work together every single season. If we all make the final every single time, let's share the money every single time. This was banned. This was outlawed long ago. Season 9 in the reunion, they were talking and they were like, why can't you split it? Like the reunion host was like, why didn't you just split it with Mark 4 ways, 5 ways? And they're like, well, in our contracts it's banned. Oh, well, apparently now in 2023, 2022, 2024, it's not banned. So now the challenge is actively wanting you to share this money. So now you're going to have deals made in which I'm sure they were doing anyways, but now it's just like, it's a part of the game. Hey, well, luckily the challenge now is like going away, being like, we're gonna give $25,000 to Car and Steve, as if Laura was gonna give any of that prize money. They were just gonna hand her a $300,000 check and then ask her, hey, do you want to give some of these guys some money because they made it here? She would have been like, heck no, get me out of here, get me on a plane, get me a shower, and give me something to eat, and give me a breath mint after drinking so much of that frog juice, and I'm out of here. I'm gone. But it's just frustrating, like, that's, like, social games are already an advantage, and then you're gonna heighten them even more, like, we just need to work even more together. We have to be friends till the very end, when the final should just be done. It's the final. The final. We're done. We're done being friends. Now it's time to just see who wins. You don't have to actively try to get each other out, but it's like, we just need to just do your best. I don't know. That was a lot. I'm getting a little lightheaded. Uh, and that was just a lot. There was a lot of being said in there, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just ridiculous to me. I think the stars thing and the friendship thing was more egregious than the games being a lot more like Squid Games at the end. But to me, I don't care about that. I care about people. Like, the final is the final, but I just want to see them do their very best. But whatever. Oh man. Yeah, I can only imagine if Josh made it to the final, everybody would just be handing him his stars, and he probably still would lose. I hate to say it. What's 8 times 9? Where did this come from? I love just seeing random comments like flickering on here. Um, Vacation Alliance destroyed the challenge, made the show full and boring with Fessy, Casey, and Nani. I mean, it was bound to happen. I mean, I know it was like everybody talked about Big Brother, but this was a problem before Big Brother. I mean, we had the mob, and granted, some people would say like the mob with Kenny, Evan, and Bananas and everything, the JEK alliance, at least those players had like personalities with Paula and Derek and everything. But at the same time, in the early 20s, there was even more. Like Frank in season 23 said that this game is won with numbers and not personality, which is exactly where we're at today. And that was back in season 23, and the challenge had to implement the cards in season 25, had to implement the skulls, and trying to nerf the numbers down because it was going to get really, really bad. They just haven't been able to nerf it now. They've gone away with it because those players were no longer on the season. People started to actually play the game a little bit more and get still competitive. And then there was this shift, and we got back to just numbers, numbers, numbers. Numbers rule everything. And the challenge has done nothing at this point to really nerf that at this time, and kind of just letting them run wild with the numbers, and it's working. And not only that, now they're just like incentivizing it. They're rewarding it with the stars, with having everybody pay each other out in the open. It's kind of wild, you know. It's kind of crazy if you really think about it. But yeah. Mm-mm-mm. not all y'all, not all, not all y'all defending the goof in here. I mean, Josh is working out. I mean, he's working with Tori and Rachel, and he's made it to close to the finals before. But it's one of those things where you have to like actually you have to prove something at some point. You got to make moves at some point, in my opinion. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Um, we got a 4.99 super chat from Joseph Banks. Thank you, Joseph. MTV Challenge casting has been bad. X's 2, Brittany, Adam, Georgia, Davon should have been back for many seasons. They were all entertaining. Agreed. It's actually quite surprising that a lot of those players weren't asked back. Like, especially like Brittany and Adam, who they did a lot. They won, I think, didn't they win like 4 eliminations in their first season? 3 or 4 eliminations in X's 2. So that's kind of wild. But thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Whew. I'm trying to catch my breath after that. Beating the numbers is almost impossible unless you're Jordan, CT, and Bananas. But even then, they have numbers. I mean, Bananas winning Total Madness. He had the whole house behind him. Jordan now that him and Tori are really cool with each other, he's just like an honorary vacation member alliance, but he can actually work and do things. Like, if you're not going to like actively try to get Jordan out, which you have to take 3 to 7 chances of trying to get Jordan out, hoping that one of the eliminations will actually throw him off his game. But yeah, I mean, CT always has friends. He's only been did you know that CT has only been in 11 eliminations in his 19 seasons of the challenge? CT has only been in 11 eliminations. That is wild. You know, that is wild. But yeah, he's only been he's only been in 11. He is incredible. A lot of people want to say Mark Long has one of the best. I think CT has really showed up and really has done an incredible job with his social game. But yeah. Yeah. Bob says, "Yep, it's dumb to try not to get Jordan out. As much as I disliked him in the earlier seasons, he's an animal. He's incredible to watch in the competitions because you could just tell he is so he has to be so he has to be he has to find different ways. He has to think out of the box, and I think that's what makes him perfect for the challenge is that he has to think outside the box just to do some of these challenges that players take for granted because they have abilities that maybe he doesn't have, because they do have two hands. But Jordan has to always think 3 steps ahead. He always has to figure out a way to do these things that players just take for granted. And I think it helps in the challenge, because that challenge makes you do some wild and crazy things. And I think it just comes naturally to him, which is absolutely, and he's just also just athletically gifted. When there's a lot of players who are muscular but cannot run in a straight line, they cannot catch a ball, they can't do any of these things that come naturally to Jordan. So it's crazy. But yeah, it's getting down to 45 minutes. So I want to go through, because I think it's going to take a little bit. I do want to get to some of the results from everybody here, or if you filled out the forms, to kind of get an idea of what everybody thought of All Stars 4. We can close this chapter, and then we can jump into talking about season 40 and the season 40 cast, because I'm also getting tired of talking about All Stars 4. I almost gave myself a headache, and I'm ready to move on. But I'm very excited to see these numbers and see what everybody else thinks about what everybody did, which I got to say, a ton of people filled this out, which I am very appreciative. I went into this being like, oh man, I hope more than 3 people fill this out. And so many more people than 3 people filled it out. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for filling this out, going through the questions. It wasn't an easy, just 1, 2 questions. There was a lot to think about. So I really, really appreciate it to everybody who filled this out. But here we have a strong over 63% of everybody who voted said that the cast was a B, that it's good but could have been better, which I 1000% agree. I think B is really, really solid for the cast. So yeah. I do, I do not like Jordan's personality, but I always have to respect him for killing it like he does. Yeah, I agree. It's okay chasing Kay Brene. It's fine. There was a lot of people that filled this out. But be on the lookout for more sheets, because I want to do this in the future, because I think this is really, really fun. But what would you grade the format of the season? Everybody agreed that it was B. Good, but could have been better. That C was middle of the road. Majority was saying B or C area, but 42.5% is a good chunk of the vote for people to say that it was good but could have been better. Maybe for next time you could do screenshots of the daily challenges and eliminations, because I only know them by visuals and not by name. I will maybe think about that. It's really tough when you have there was 17 combined daily challenges and eliminations to try to like piece in there. So that's really, really tough. Is it really? But here we go. So that's B. All right. In your opinion, what were the 3 best daily challenges? And it wasn't really that close. Everybody said, wow, actually, this actually surprises me, because when I kept on looking, Reach for the Stars, the first daily challenge where they had to do the box puzzle, I thought that one was way ahead. Somehow in the last little bit, Bobblehead Bobsled came out, got 50.5% of the votes. Then Reach for the Stars was second. And then third was Carsick at 39.2. To me, y'all knocked it out of the park. I think that was really good. Take a Seat was also, I think, top 4 for me as well. So I actually really think that was a really, really solid 4 to pick. I think those are my top 4 as well. So I think that was really good. It's okay, Julia. Thank you so much for thank you so much for the super chat, but you do not have to apologize for forgetting to not fill it out. It's all good. You helped fill out the Patreon sheet for us, so do not feel bad about that. But I thought that was a really solid way of viewing it. And then what are the 3 worst daily challenges? By far, 54.3% was balls up with the plungers and the balls in the canopy, and everybody colluded against Kara. Of course, that one is. I think the collusion really takes the wind out of the sails for that one. Roll with it with the shopping carts at 35.5% was low as well. And I think Face the Facts, which is the trivia challenge where everybody had to spell words that they don't really know, but they could have understood it because there was a lot of other things. So yeah. So I think this was a really solid one. What was fourth? Was it? It looks like there's a tie between Starborn, which was the Purge challenge at the end, and Domino. Completely agree. So yeah, worst. Those are the 3 worst. Balls Up was one of the worst of all 4 seasons. Wow. I mean, I don't blame you. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. So what were the 3 best eliminations? Well, you have number 1 Caged In, which was Kara versus Cam, taking almost 61% of the votes. Really great. Welcome in 1. Take a Seat would have been my fave if it didn't have a puzzle at the end. I totally agree. You know, that to me, the juxtaposition of running, they should have just done a sabotage. Just have them run around the whole stadium the whole time. Why completely cut it and then move on? To me, I think you should just do it completely. I think you should do it completely the running around to me. But Caged In, Kara versus Cam with the cage and the 10 balls, Laurel being like, no, Cam, you got this one. So that one is your favorite. 61% of the votes, it's by far the favorite vote. Down the Tube was the somewhat Hall Brawl 2 ball. Kefla versus Cyrus, Rachel versus Ayana. I agree. That was one of the best physical eliminations that we had over the course of the season. And 39%. Catching a Falling Star was, which kind of surprises me, but to me, that just sounds like the first part of the season was the best. Reach for the Stars was close to everybody's favorite. I think it was everybody the vote's second favorite, and then Catch a Falling Star was the third favorite, meaning that it's really close to meaning that everybody was so hyped for the season. It started off with such a positive note with the challenges and everybody being excited for the season, and then it just completely kind of like dissipated, and you can see that there's a little slump when it comes to like Star Slice and then Ladies and the Tramp and stuff. But now some people are saying that Rope Rumble was a joke. Let's see what's the worst. Star Slice takes it 60, almost 66% say Star Slice was the worst. I think it's the potential of Star Slice. You have Kara versus Rachel, two-time champions going head to head with each other. You're thinking they're both physical beasts. They should go up against each other. And then all of a sudden they're throwing like stars at a giant board, and it's a carnival game. And I think that's where people's frustration comes out in this vote, where it's 66% people say this stinks, man. Wow. Actually, I'm very surprised. Ladies and the Tramp, the Cam versus Tina elimination got second with near 49% of the votes. And then Rope Rumble was the third worst. I thought Rope Rumble was by far the worst. For real. I'm with you, Christy. Rope Rumble was absolute trash. It was so bad. Yes, thank you so much, Lovable Nikki. But Rope Rumble was so bad. I was so disappointed in Rope Rumble. Dana agrees. Rope Rumble was horrible. It was bad. Bad. Here, this is what I was looking forward to the entire time people were voting. Is who are 5 players you formed a different opinion on, positive, like a positive different opinion on, by the end of the season. So coming into the season, you had all your preconceived notions of all the players, and then by the time it ended, who did you feel positively on? By far, and Chris is a huge Jay supporter coming into the season, 78.5%. Everybody is clamoring for Jay. Jay. Everybody loves Jay right now. So yeah, congratulations to Jay for really having a strong fan base now. But Jay, 78.5%, everybody had a super high feeling about him. They loved him. 72% loved Steve by the end of this season. I think Steve really proved going into 3 eliminations and nearly winning, according to the edit, that people really enjoyed him. Ace was the third person that was leaving positive on this one. Derek was fourth, and Cara Maria at 42% is fifth. So Kifla, I want to say, was sixth on the list. So, I mean, that's really solid. I mean, but you can see like the edit was really pushing those players towards the end specifically. But yeah, Ace is top 3. So you have the top 3 is Jay, Steve, and Ace, then Derek and Cara. Which yeah. Now, the exact opposite. Who are the 5 players you formed a different opinion on coming from a negative standpoint? Who are you leaving being like, ugh, I'm glad that's over because I don't have to see them anymore. 71% said Laurel on this season, which wow. Then 65.1% was Nicole, which can I just say who had a super like were people like mid? Were people like mid on Nicole? Were they like, oh, whatever, you know? I could take her or leave her because I'll be real, I'm not a huge like Nicole fan, so I wouldn't even have voted for her because I didn't have that big of an opinion about her coming into this. I didn't have this like positive or mid review of her. I don't really care if I ever see her again or not. You know, I prefer not to. But yeah. Um, but yeah. Oh, I did accidentally. I accidentally wrote Tyree's name wrong. That's years of seeing it that way. I'm so sorry. That's actually really bad. That's on me. But Laurel is 71%. Nicole is 65.1%, which is actually surprising to me. Adam, 60.2%, which I think all of his goodwill over the course of the season just instantly tanked towards the end when he was telling Steve to do something with something and twist and shout. I don't know what he was saying. And then, wow, Avery was fourth. No, Ayana. Ayana was fourth at 52.7%, which is understandable for what we saw in the edit. And then a lot of the rumors surrounding what actually was allegedly said and how much she was pushing Janelle out of the game and trying to play mental mind games. And then 50.5% said the Cam, they had a difference. But yeah. My issue with Flora is that she liked PB. You are the company that you keep. That's saying something. I will not. I know what he said. I don't want to say it. It makes me uncomfortable saying what Adam legit said. So I try to change it up and say twist and shout. I don't know. And then we're moving on to what grade would you give the final? Everybody said below average, which was a D. C, middle of the road, or no. F was, so you have D and F getting over 66% of the votes is D through F. That is terrible. That is absolutely horrific. That is absurdly bad. If you're the challenge, like taking the survey and then a whole bunch of fans are like, this final was below average / the worst final ever. That is terrible. That is really bad. Yeah, definitely agree. Mixed bag final. The car bit was dope. I think the car and the electric star, it's the whole episode 12. It just instantly like dissipates for me. We move away from like themes. It just seems so random with Spicy Foot, some Big Brother-esque style themes, and then the handing out stars. It just is weird, you know? That last bit, that whole episode 12 just kind of threw me off, you know? That's how I viewed it. And then where does the season fall for you in your season rankings? There was a split. There was a split between within the top 20 and outside the top 20, which kind of makes me think of this. This is how I kind of interpret this kind of graph, is that if we waited 453 days, 453 days for this season, we got all hyped up and everything. We liked the cast. We're getting excited. We're watching the season, but we waited 453 days, and the season now ends up being, I want to say, at generous 17 on some people's list. Between 17 ends up being between 17 and I want to say 27. Give it a good 10 different ranking. I know that's a huge gap, but give it 17 to 27 in like a 45 season. Is it like 45 seasons, not counting 40 of course, but 39 plus what, 6, so that's already 45. But that's close to mid. That's like pretty mid. So we're out of all this. The consensus is that we waited 453 days for a mid season, for like a season that we could live or whatever with. I could watch it, I could not. That's where I think is a failure for us. If we're sitting there going like, this was a mid season, it kind of falls somewhere in the middle. Overall, it's fine. It has its high points, it has its low points, but whatever. Yeah, I agree. Still better than season 39. So I mean, that's a low bar to cross, but I guess that makes sense. The season surrounding it, I just think that there was this if we go back to the one where I think that we were hitting kind of like a good push with the World Championship and USA 2. I really liked USA 2. I thought that there was a lot to like in that gameplay for the most part. I think towards the end it was starting to die out a little bit, but I thought we were getting somewhere with USA 2 and the World Championships, and then all of a sudden we get season 39, and we've been waiting for All Stars 4, and then these 2 seasons just kind of waffle at the end, and we're just like, all right, cool, please, gosh, we need something else. Luckily, we do have season 40 coming up very soon, which let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So that's pretty much everything. Yeah, we're gonna do that at the end to say thank you to all the Patreon members. But I want to say thank you so much for everybody who supported and filled out the Google form. It was really fun to see how everything went and all the votes and everything. It was really cool. I haven't used Google Forms to that level before, and so many people showed up to fill out the form. I thought it was really, really great. So thank you so much. But now let's move into, we're just over the hour mark, so let's move now. Now no showing the random comments you asked. Okay, I totally forgot about that actually. Where did I put that? I did put it somewhere. Uh-oh. Now I'm wondering where it's gone. I know it's somewhere here. It's here somewhere. I'll start. There we go. Right? No, that's not it. Okay, it's somewhere. I don't know where it is. I had it. Uh-oh. Well, now I think it's gone forever. Where is that? I mean, I could always just pull it up on the actual form, or I did it somewhere else. Oh, I know where it's at. And I can't get into that account. I can't get into that account. I can always try to get it up on my. Oh, dang. Anyways, let's talk about season 40. Let's talk about season 40 because I just screwed screwed all that up. But season 40 was announced today. I want to say I want an accurate. Can I delete this? Why? Who cares about Simon Cowell and his fiance? 3 things to know about Simon Cowell's son. Who cares? I don't know the man. I want to get a real look into who actually thought that they were going to announce season 40 today? Who like legit thought? Because there's no way. There's no way. If you tell me that you were expecting season 40, you're lying. Because there is no way. Less than a week in between them announcing and ending All Stars 4, they just somehow drop the first. Well, they dropped the whole cast, but only the first 10 possibly AI generated photos, the cast photos. But yeah. They heard they heard you were going live tonight. Yeah, they heard that I was throwing all my eggs into talking about All Stars 4, that they completely like try to screw it up. Yes, it's going to be August 14th is episode 1. August 7th is episode 0. So we're getting a full week in between episode 0 and episode 1, which is surprising. Sometimes they normally do it like Monday, but maybe they wanted to get an extra weekend. So let's move into seeing some of these photos. Here's the full cast photo, which looks fantastic. You know, love the blues, love the green, love the pink. This is it, man. This is what we wanted. I actually did expect it. They haven't gone more than a month between shows and promos. They do like months in between, but if it's coming out August 7th or August 14th, they could have waited like a week to 2 weeks and then promote it. But I totally see where you're coming from. So yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. Queen C. But yeah, look at this cast. A lot of people that we've seen recently, you know, this is how you know that they waited. They kept all their money that they could so that they could pay every single person's appearance fee. I mean, you're talking about a cast with CT, Mark Long, Johnny Bananas, Jordan, to make sure that everybody is here, ready to go. I mean, a lot of these people would have done it for free, but they waited. They held on hope, and really kept their minds and eyes on their purses, because they were like, we got to save up for season 40. If we want 40 people here, we're gonna have to pay everybody a pretty penny. And on top of that, we got to make all the challenges that much better, all the eliminations that much bigger. So hand out $250,000 here, hand out whatever we gave Emmanuel, 2 pennies and a potato chip and a giant sack with that has quarters in it with a dollar sign painted on the bag, and he'll be fine with it. You know, just tell him that it's a lot of money and he'll be cool with it. You know. But look at this cast. This is incredible. We have so many champions on here. We have 8 champions on Era 1. We have 6 in Era 2, I believe. We have 4 in Era 3. And then we have 2 in Era. That's a lot of champions. I mean, granted, it's a lot of people, so you're bound to have some champions. But I think there's a lot of finalists in here too. So you know you have players that are here to play. Of course, not everybody is going to have the same like ability to get as deep as other people, you know, but it's still very exciting for the different possibilities in each and every group, the wild cards in each and every group. I mean, this looks fun. This looks great. I love it so much. This is going to be so much fun. Great cast, definitely. It should have been all champions. I mean, that's tough. That's going to be tough. I'm not counting John A. What? She won at least one of them. You got to count one. Avery's back. Yeah, we almost have like a small, like real world Portland reunion with Jordan, Avery, and Naya all in Eras 3 together. Jenny West is finally back. Noah Manuel, which is actually really surprising. Hey, he was able to with that kind of winnings, he could buy everybody in air conditioning, you know? So let's not. He won. With or without knowing how to do Sudoku. I voted just based on the eliminations themselves as concept. Oh, that was from the other thing. Yeah, my girl Amanda's back. We got a good variety here. I will say that I did not this was interesting that I wrote that is in the video. I put this paragraph in the video that's coming out tomorrow morning, but it says that all these players, why is Darrell not underlined and have a link to him? That's interesting. He's the only one that doesn't. But all these players in Challenge Legends, the contestants who include Challenge Legends will battle it out for their share of $1 million prize. Participants will have to compete at the Era Invitational and eliminate the other contestants within their own challenge era to earn a spot on their team. So, are we getting a purge in the very beginning? Like we start out with kind of like what we did with Dirty 30, where there was a big like multi-complex daily challenge where certain people were able to win their way into safety into the house, and then hopefully it's not just two people being like you are gone, you are gone, you are gone. Hopefully that's not the case, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like all these players, era 1 will be they'll be doing a daily challenge altogether, but Era 1 will be facing off to try to win themselves into the house. Maybe one or two men and women are eliminated. The same thing with the Era 2, Era 3, Era 4. So we could have an early exit for some of these people. Wow. Dang. Wow. I cannot take it. Redemption House, I almost expected at this point. You have this big of a cast and you could have some of your favorites be eliminated early. Tell me that they wouldn't hurry up and buy a house that keep everybody in if, say, Kara somehow trips and is like eliminated, or Jordan trips and is eliminated. Like, you know, they're going to be like, rent a house, get an Airbnb. We got to get a Redemption House twist here. 8 players from each 2 per team. So that's what it could be like. So 1 man, 1 woman, last place man and woman could make sense. But yeah, I feel like there could be a Redemption House. I'm hoping to see some good gameplay on season 40 over the big friendship alliances. I hope, but there's too many friendships in here to not think. Yeah, the Era Invitational. Thanks, I hate it. I think we're gonna start off with a purge right off the bat. Oh no, everybody is so frustrated now. I don't mean to make people. I don't mean to rain on people's parade. Like, everybody is like so hyped up for this cast, and then knowing like 8 people out of 40 to drop down to 32, which makes more sense. Don't you think 32 people makes a little bit more sense? It's a little bit more, but it's not great when you have this like big cast milestone season, but it sounds exactly how they're going to have like exactly what season 30 started off with. So they're competing before the competition. That's what it sounds like. I think episode 1 is going to be right when they start. They're going to be coming right in. There got to be some sort of purge. I think you would want it at the end, though. You don't want to have a purge right off the bat, because some people's favorites are going to be cut out just like that. So it's going to be kind of frustrating. But let's go into what some of the eras look like. Again, I'm going to be putting out a video very tomorrow morning, but here's Era 1, which, oh gosh. You have Era 1, which looks great. This cast photo looks impeccable. You know, everybody looks so happy. They look to be the best of friends. Tina's laying in the middle of everybody. You got the campus crawls duo here that everybody loves. Road Rules Extreme. Got some real worlders. I mean, more road rulers, I guess. But this is great. You know, this is nice. This is fun. These are legends and icons of the game. And then as we go along, it gets a little bit more funky. But here's Era 2, which got Brandon, Bananas, Aviv, which is incredible. When I saw her, I thought, this is awesome. I mean, she's coming out. You would think Aviv would want to do All Stars first, get her like feet wet, but she's jumping right back in. She's was on season 12, and here she is wanting to win season 40, go 2 for 2, make the final. Incredible. You got Emily Scrum coming back after a while. You got Gar Maria back, Derek's back, Ryan's back. Laurel, of course, has to be here, Nehemiah, and then Kellyanne. This is a fun group. I think that this is a fun group. I don't think they're as like spicy. I think they are spicier. I think they're spicier than than Era 1. I just think when it comes to competition, I would believe in Era 1. I think Era 1 has more consistency, whereas Era 2 has their ups and downs, and then it just gets more volatile from there. Um yeah. um yeah. This is Era 3. I forgot Emily's name. I mean, she hasn't been on for a while. I think the last time we saw her was on Champs versus Stars 1, winning with CT and Bananas. And then there was a Universal uh, uh, special on one of the season's finales, I think. And it was her and Derek versus Darrell and Veronica, and then Alton and Tori Hall, or Tori Fiorenza. I think it was Tori Hall at that time, came in. And yeah, it was wild the last time. It's been a while since, but here we got Era 3 with Leroy, John A, Corey, Tori, Naya, Amanda, Jordan, Tony, Avery, and Devin. It's a bit of a mixed bag here. I do believe in their ability. I think they're a well-rounded team. But will there be too many cooks in the kitchen? Julia, thank you so much for the super chat. $30. Holy heck. Thank you so much. If Nehemiah goes home in the beginning, y'all will hear me cry about it the entire season. I have big hopes for Nehemiah. This is where I wish Wes was on the season, because if Nehemiah and Wes were there on the season, I would feel so much better about Nehemiah. But he's also done challenge seasons and hung out with these players. Like Jordan, he was on the hanging out with Jordan on All Stars 3. The same thing with Naya. I think that he has friends on this cast outside of his era, so I'm hoping he can do well. But yeah, I'm pulling for Nehemiah. I thought he had a really strong season on All Stars 3, so I'm praying for him. I'm hoping he'll go far this season. Touche there, Robbie. Volatile equals baggage. Yes. Yeah, that's also another one of this. I put up a post. So I put up a post with all these cast group photos together. And as I was trying to get everybody together, as you can saw, Era 1 are all together. They are jumbled up. They're putting their hands on each other. Tina's laying down on people, and they're so close with each other. Eras 2, they're kind of jumbled up with each other. And then as the eras go along, they just start drifting apart to the point where I failed to realize before I posted the post of being like, hey, what's your favorite era? Here are all the era groups, that I accidentally cut off. It was like half of Casey was cut off. And then Horacio was completely cut off. And I was like, what happened? I had the picture where everybody was in it, but I guess just the dimensions and they were cut off. And I'm like, I didn't mean to cut them off. But because they were so spread out, it's just wild that they were just like completely out of it. But yeah, Wes should have been likely, but he was booked for House of Villains too. Apparently he's supposed to be doing another reality show like Traders. So yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. Emily and Laurel would be something. Yeah. I've already heard a lot of rumors of possible like get-togethers and dating and everything, and it's going to be a lot. Mickey says this is a smart group right here. Eras 4 is dangerous. Well, let's go check out Eras 4. What does Eras 4 look like? Eras 4 looking, again, really spread out here. But you have Theo Campbell, you have Horacio, Paulie, Josh, Kyland, Casey, Jenny West, Michelle, Olivia, and Nerys here. At first, I didn't even notice that they had these shields. That looked like an N to me, and I'm like, why are they on N? Why? But then I looked, and it's the 1 and the V are so close together. Like, I can clearly see that these are 3, and the other ones are 2, and the other ones are 1. But it's just so funny that this is like, that's so close. Why is that so? Why is that so? They're different. You can spread them apart a little bit. But anyways, this is a decent team. It's an up and coming team. I think your best bets are Nerys, Jenny, Horacio, and Theo. Kyland has a lot of the smarts, I think, that will help them out. And you got a lot of muscle on here. I think you got a lot of muscle, some brain. You'll have and then some miscellaneous. I hate to say it, but I think you're gonna have some miscellaneous on season on I think I could see more of what people are. But yeah. Yeah. It's a fancy N. Hey, it's not Helvetica, so I know that. But yeah. Era 4 smart people can they work together? That's a big one. Can they work together? They have this is the problem with Era 4 is that they have the more recent baggage. They have the more recent baggage of playing with each other and not doing well with each other. Like, say, Nerys and Olivia, Horacio and Olivia. That's pretty much it. Or Michelle as well was also not very close with Kyland and Nerys and Horacio. They also don't know each other as well as everybody else. Like, everybody else has had time to marinate and hang out at reunions and outside. Like, a lot of these players have done 1 to 2 seasons. So that's also going to play into a factor. So maybe they don't have a ton of baggage with each other. They'll have more recent baggage with each other, as well as they just don't know each other. They may not have the chemistry. Whereas Era 1 has played probably multiple seasons with each other and can maybe go a little bit deeper into the game and trust each other and not worry about their own team against each other. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. But my theory overall about this season is that it's going to start off with everybody in teams of 4. This will be said in the video as well, but we're going to start off with everybody in teams of 4 working as teams. And then midway through the season, it's going to be a solo game. It's going to be an individual game. And then now it's like the race to be the best of the best. You're the best of the best. You made it this far halfway through. Now the teams are dissolved and now you got to be the best ever. You can't just be the best of era, or you're not just hoping your era is the best. You're not going to lean on each other. You got to just do it yourself. And so that's where I see this season moving forward. That's where I think it's going to turn. There's just no way they're going to keep it a 4-team season, in my opinion. They're going to want to like actually have like a full season. I already see the Big Brother players working together. That's a given. Theo has ties with World. Oh, yeah. Casey, Kellyanne, John A., etc. See how close they were with each other. Tori and Jordan. I know we all know that Theo and Jordan are really close with each other. So yeah, there's a lot of help there. I hope the entire team wins. That would be so great. That'd be really, really fun. 4 champs is amazing. It would be cool if there was 4 champs, but I have a feeling that they're not going to be 4 champs. It's going to be an individual game. I have a feeling with. I don't think his close ties will save Josh overall. I mean, I think it'll save him going way deep into the game, and then he's probably going to be sent into the elimination late. Luckily, Fessel's not in here. But I'm waiting to see if we're going to get the pillow fight hall brawl again. Last elimination of the season going into the final. It's a pillow fight hall brawl. I'm looking for throwback eliminations. I want pole wrestles. Give us a normal hall brawl. Give us not so fast. Give us some like modified, but still good old school. Like, we got 40 seasons. You got 40 seasons to reach back on and modify or make something better than what it was back in the day. Let's do that. I want a season where we like do throwbacks. I would think that that would be so much fun. I would love to never see Fessy again. Uh, yeah, I'm hearing some rumors. I am hearing some rumors. Um, but yeah, uh, I'm so happy to see Jenny again. I feel like Jenny's gonna do well. I just don't think that she's gonna get a lot of camera time. She didn't get a lot of camera time in Total Madness, and she won that season. So we'll see how much camera time. I mean, that's the problem with some of the players from Era 4. You're worried about where their camera time is going to be at. Like, who are going to be the actual narrators? We just had a season, All Stars 4, 24 players. All the confessionals were so varied. They were so varied, and it was so top heavy with Cam, Laurel, Cara were the top 3 with the most confessionals, and everybody else just kind of was background players until they couldn't be anymore. And we got to the final, and Ace and Steve had like a surgence of confessionals. And I would like a little bit more like balance on this season, especially with how many names, how many notable names there are. I would love to have like a nice balance of confessionals and everything. So we'll just see. But yeah. Love Kylan, but we know 4 is getting destroyed. You never know, you never know. I have a feeling because Tori does like the Challenge Official podcast and everything, that she's gonna be having like she's gonna be like the spider putting out her webs for everybody and like having this like strong connection with everybody because of everything. So that's how I feel it's gonna be with some of the people from Era 4, but we'll have to see how it but we'll see how it goes. I think Jody will be the most shut out. Like, won't say a whole bunch. I heard that there's some cast rumors that Fessel. I mean, I made a video. I made a video about All Stars 5. Go check out the video if you want to. I'm just saying that we're probably going to see Fessy in the future. I love Theo. I'm excited to see how he matches up. Me too. I hope that he's going to actually come and compete. He was so like he disappeared. He disappeared in the edit when it came to the world championship. And I was very disappointed about that. I was so excited to see Theo on the world championship, and he was just like invisible. My fear is that there's going to be a lot of players in the beginning that are just going to be gone, that we're just not going to see them at all. And that's a little sad. There's a lot of people in this cast, and I would just hate to see like a whole bunch of people just not being shown at all until like their elimination or something. But 40 people, but 32 people, I don't know. If I don't see Not So Fast, I will riot. I completely agree. There's no we get to see Rope Rumble too. They tried to bring in all the jungle gyms again, and then all of a sudden, oh man, they still lost in the post office. So get the rope, put it on the plank. We're playing Rope Rumble. We're playing Rope Rumble tonight. Oh my gosh. We need a Bananas Backpack 2.0. But yeah, that'd be awesome. Reverse tug of war. I don't like the reverse tug of war because the reverse tug of war like really leans into the heavier opponent. So if say like Paulie versus like Theo, Paulie's gonna be at a huge disadvantage or something because he's not as tall and he's not probably as heavy. It always goes to the heavier opponent unless you're Jordan and you're going up against Chauncey and you're able to win. Like, but that's like 1 out of 20 chances that happens. Every time else, it's always the heavier opponent wins in reverse tug of war. That's why I dislike like weight-based challenges. But yeah. Josh is going to Josh at some point. Somehow it doesn't seem like you're saying much, but you invoke so much imagery with just saying Josh is going to Josh at some point. he's gonna he's gonna do his thing. He's gonna yell, he's gonna like bang on a table, he's gonna get in somebody's face, and then probably get thrown into elimination, and it's not gonna go well for him. That's normally how it goes. Um, I'm ready for a team win. It's been a minute. It would be great. It would be great for a team. It would be great to have a couple of players get the win, get on the winner's circle, see an era. What era is the best with like the team that they have? That would be great. But we'll see. We'll see how it's all going to play out. I'm very interested. I just love the reaction where I was like, "Oh, they're going to be doing an era invitational," and it seems like there's a purge. I thought they were talking about like when I first read that, I thought that they were gonna say like it was gonna be like season 20, where if your team lost, well then season 20 didn't face off against you. I thought they were initially saying that the players were gonna have to face off against each other in eliminations week in and week out, which would have made things really confined but pretty interesting. But reading that they're gonna start off with like a purge just stinks right off the bat. But yeah. We'll see how that's all gonna play out. Um, but yeah, there's some notable missing players here, but I'll be real, they're probably gonna be on All-Stars 5 if you're saying anything. But yeah. Where's Amber? She got called for something else. If you don't see somebody and you think that they should have been on here, they're most likely on a upcoming season after this. Um, it'd be great to have a Battle of the Seasons win, but I doubt it. Yeah, I just think that with how big I think they're gonna dissolve the teams at some point. That's just my opinion. I would love a team win, but I think they're gonna dissolve the teams at some point, which is not great. Give me the goof is definitely gonna be said. There's no way Josh and CT are on here, and CT's not gonna say give me the goof at some point. Chauncey also admitted to being the popcorn muscle archetype. I mean, Chauncey looks incredible. I don't care if he's got the stuff from SpongeBob. Remember those arms? I don't care if he bought those from the infomercial. He looks incredible, which I think muscles are two different things. But I mean, for his line of work, being a content creator and everything, you don't really need to be like the strong man. But if you're going to be on the challenge, might as well have the strong muscles as well. So it doesn't work for the challenge, but it works for his content creation. We need more physical eliminations, especially with this stacked cast. I completely agree. For real, I would love it. They should bring the log rope thing. Leroy went twice. Just Leroy gets that over and over and over again. Leroy is like, send me down. I got this. That would be incredible. If he wins for a third time in a row, that'd be, I mean, who's going to beat him? He's done it twice and absolutely dominated twice. But yeah. We need more of a variance, I will say. We need more of a variance. I think we've been season 39 was puzzle central, which and then All-Stars 4, like 2 seasons back to back, we've had a lot of equalizers, a lot of balances. And I'm not saying I want landslide victories of having physical eliminations, but we're definitely missing something. We were missing something with having too much of the equalizers, too much of the puzzles. And so to me, it would be nice to have a little bit of a balance and have like physical eliminations. And can I just say, challenge? I'm not saying rig anything, but also do your job and make for entertaining TV and be able to swap out eliminations when need be. If you see 2 people like Cara and Rachel going into an elimination, call an audible and do not do Star Slice. Do not do carnival games. Do not do something that, hey, if Jasmine and Flora find themselves down in the arena floor, give them Star Slice. Give them more of a physical elimination. It did not work out because there was no more physical eliminations on All Stars 4 except for except for really the only good one, which was the ball one with Kefla and Cyrus and everything down the tube. But just please, like, be able to call an audible, be able to shake things up when it's like, oh, these two are going down. Let's make for good TV and not just completely like botch the whole and miss a hop opportunity for a great TV moment, a legendary moment. You got to be able to think on your feet a little bit more. Again, not saying rig it and be like, oh, Kara's going in against blah, let's rig it for her to win because we don't want her to go home. But when you see two really strong competitors that are like the same height, same weight, and could be a good physical elimination, let's make it a physical elimination. You know, that's what I'm saying. Be a little bit more flexible. Be more like water. You know, that's what I'm saying. We need more gladiator eliminations. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Aviv has been on like Challenge Mania events and Challenge Mania Live. I think that it'll be interesting to see how well she's connected with everybody. But she's been on some Challenge Mania. She did like bowling in San Francisco with Darrell and a few other players as well. I don't know if they're on this team. I don't remember who was in there. But yeah, I wasn't trying to say. I'm just saying that you're not one like if there's a physical elimination. Like I would have rather have seen them to go up against each other in a more balanced elimination than seeing Jasmine go up against Nicole in Rope Rumble. You know, that's what I was trying to say. I can't wait to see CT and Bananas. It's been a while. It's been a while. A hot minute. What was it? It wasn't season 38. Was it season 35 was the last time they were on a season together? Season 35, Total Madness. Season 36 was Double Agents. Bananas wasn't on it. Season 37, Bananas wasn't on it. Was Bananas on? No, Bananas was on season 37, right? Now I'm confused. I've been looking into too many people and too many yeah, he wasn't on there. And then Ride or Dies, season 38, CT wasn't on there. So yeah, it's been a while. Season 35. Wow. If I have to count John A, not counting Tony, there are 20 champs. So 50-50 on new champ. Well, the odds change depending on how many winners. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's a really good. I didn't even think of like how many. Like I didn't add them all together. Thank you for that. Tony won Champs versus Stars too. So yeah, a lot of people don't count the Champs versus series. So yeah, I wouldn't count it necessarily. Yeah, I win. Thank you so much, Michael, for telling me that I'm right. Please, anybody who wants to say I'm right. No, just kidding. I was gonna be like, keep telling me that. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, season 35. Wow, it's crazy. It's been since season 35. I haven't even thought of that. But it's been since season 35 they were on a season together. Wow. All right. I mean, there's not too much else except for that's not what I wanted. There's not much else to talk about except for these cast photos that were out. So these cast photos were released. It's looking like, unless something has been released since we started recording or started the live, but there is no there. It seems like they're going to be going one era group a day, possibly. This is kind of early for them to announce the new season. We're about almost a month and a half away, when normally they take a month in between like announcing and then the premiere date. So it's been about like so with this they've only really released the era 1 cast photos, and then it looks like they're going to do era 2 maybe tomorrow, era 3 tomorrow. There's questions about these photos. Apparently there was a possibility that they were AI generated. Somebody put up a screenshot saying that they were. Who knows? It could have been false Who knows if it's AI generated? But these are the only other, like, besides the release date and all the press releases. Here is the cast photos for Era 1. These are the men, where you have CT here, Derek, K, Darrell, Mark, Brad. Oh, I'm too big. Sorry about that. And then Brad. So you got Brad, Mark, Darrell, Derek, and CT. And then you have on the women's side, you have Tina, Jody, Rachel, Anissa. And this is where I like, everybody else's picture looks pretty solid. Like, okay, I can see these are like real photos and everything. But this Katie's photo, I makes me question whether it's actually right. Yeah, AI generate could easily be in the background. Um, yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of questioning this only. Uh, I'm only questioning it for this one, for this photo in particular. Everybody else looks really chill. Everybody looks fine, but somehow it's just like, whoa, Katie, like, what happened? Like, is it the editing? Is it the Photoshop? Is it the lighting that they used? Is it the photo? Um, but everybody else looks pretty chill, everybody looks fine. Gosh, man. I did the Rachel Fitness workout. I guess I need to do it more because all I did was sweat and hurt my back. But if it gets me these results, I need it. I need these results. But everybody looks relatively good, Let's go. But it seems like if they haven't released any more photos, it looks like they're going to be doing them one a day. So in the video that's coming out tomorrow, I decided I'm not going to use the alleged AI generated pictures. Who knows if they are or not. I'm going to just use their group photos and then pinpoint and pick out the players that I'm talking about, so we have some cohesion. I didn't want to use the quote unquote cast photos, the individual solo cast photos, for one era or two eras, and then not use them. And then it looks a little funky when I use like somebody's USA 2 photos or world championship photos. So so that's what the video is going to look like tomorrow morning. I'm supposed to work on it the rest of tonight once we're done here. But we'll see how that's all going to go. But it seems like they only are going to do one era a day, and possibly that will lead into Friday, where they might drop a full trailer, 3-minute trailer of season 40, which could be really, really fun. I don't know what they must have, a lot more promo stuff to come, where they'll have like a whole bunch of them doing like TikTok challenges or talking about all the seasons that they were on, their real world seasons. Are you the one? The difference in evolution of the challenge. I'm sure they're gonna have a ton of those, like, because they did that for season 39, right? They did it for season 39 where they did where they all were sitting. It was like Darrell and Cara were like reacting to the eliminations and everything. I feel like they're going to do that again, but with a revolving cast of all the cast members, where they'll do a whole bunch of them, I'm all about more Darrell and Cara TikTok challenges. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like that's why they're getting the cast out now, because they have so much more promos and content with everybody from the cast like built up, that they're just going to be throwing it out like every single like day of the week and everything moving forward. So that's my feeling. But yeah, I think I do think that where is it? Do you think Friday will be a trailer release then? Yeah, that's what I think. I think it'll be Era 1 today, Era 2 Tuesday, Era 3 Wednesday, Era 4 Thursday, and then Friday, boom, they'll just drop a full trailer, or they'll drop the trailer with Era 4. And then if that's the case, whenever that comes out, I will do a trailer shot for shot breakdown and put that up as soon as possible on my channel. But the cast reveal and background info will all be coming out tomorrow. early, hopefully early. If I do not finish it tonight, I have to wake up super early to finish it up. But I got through era 1 pretty quickly. I still have era 2, 3, and 4 to do. Hopefully you'll enjoy the creative like style that I put together with it, because it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to, because or everybody will be used to, because it's just I've never had to wait for solo cast photos. They've always dumped everything, and then this season they're doing it one at a time to get everybody hyped as they like are announcing it. So yeah. Thank you so much. Trailer breakdown on the way. Can't wait. Once it comes out, I'm going straight for it. I'm gonna watch it twice. I'm gonna write down everything. I'm so excited. I hope there's a USA 3. But yeah. So it was, before we go and before I say anything about Patreon or anything, Chris did remind me that we can that I said I was going to mention some of the comments that were left, the optional portion of the All Stars 4 review, which I want to say thank you so much for all the comments that were left. There were some. I'm sorry that this was all anonymous, so I can't shout anybody out. But there were some really good comments I thought were very interesting. One comment says, this season was filled with wasted potential. Probably talking about how they felt at the end of the season with how great the cast was. One of the best feelings in the challenge is rooting for the underdog and seeing them win. So giving advantages based on popularity and social aspects hurts the underdog greatly. All the best finals have equal playing fields, with advantages being earned, not giving, throughout the final. That's my favorite comment. And I thought that that was like a great way to sum up how this wasn't very fun. Like with somebody like Steve, who got a star from Leroy, but Steve and Cara and even Ace, who weren't the most popular in the house. I mean, for them to make it far and to keep on passing different phases of the challenge, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that they were penalized for probably winning, and Cara, Ace, and Steve were all penalized because all of their closest allies were staying in the game, while Laurel's closest allies were all being eliminated, and it just ultimately helped her out and gave her a way better platform to win. This season started with so much potential and ended horribly. The episodes were mostly good, but the final was pretty disappointing to me. It gave someone an unfair advantage with the stars and was kind of out of left field. There's a lot of talk about the final. It would take a long time for me to rewatch, which I totally understand. I'm not going to rewatch season 39 or season 38 anytime soon, but I agree with you on All Stars 4. If I'm rewatching an All Star season, I'm not picking All Stars 4 anytime soon. Overall, a decent season, probably the worst out of the 4 All-Star seasons, though. I agree with you. I mean, All-Stars 2 has that wonky stuff happening in the final as well, which also but I think there was a lot of fun stuff, and you got Save the Palace theme song in there. We have 2 warring alliances on All-Stars 2. I think All-Stars 2 is a much better season to watch. I enjoyed this season, but it could have been better here and there. I want the challenge, not Big Brother Carnival Edition, 1,000,000,000%. This is like All Stars 2. The season is mostly pretty good, but this is a bottom tier final. Blast to the past. Everything I hoped All Stars would be, which was very positive, Hey, that's great, That's awesome. So I think that is a very nice way to end this. But I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this time to hang out with everybody. And for now, I do want to give a special shout out, thank you to all my patrons and all the members of the bakery. I want to thank you so much for your continued support over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. If you are interested on getting more content, which I will be putting out content hopefully every single week during the off season as we're leading into All-Star or season 40. So if you would be interested, please check out patreon.com/angelcakevids. There's a link down in the comment section below. We're actually going to be doing a lot of fun stuff during this off season. We have a game night. That we're set up to do this Friday. Or this Saturday. We're going to be also doing weekly live streams like this one. If you enjoyed this live stream, we're going to be doing stuff like this every single weekend over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. We're going to be rewatching through a real world season every Friday. We're going to be doing a game night this upcoming Saturday. We're also going to be, there's also Inferno 2 commentary as we're watching through every single episode of the Patreon, and extra spicier content that I can't put up on YouTube because they would not be able to be monetized. I put over at patreon.com. I do stuff for newer reality TV shows, the challenge commentary videos, as well as new and old reality shows over there as well. So if you're interested or have any questions, please reach out to me or leave a comment in the comment section here or in the chat as well. And I will answer as soon as I can. But I want to say that I will still be making content over here at YouTube. I'm going to be trying to make weekly content over here at youtube.com/angelcake over here. Starting with the hot takes video after everything with season 40 with the trailer breakdown and the cast photo or the cast release. The next video I will be doing is a hot takes video, which I have some spicy hot takes that I have to dive into. I will also be getting ready and priming everything for season 40 with going through the first of the challenge. I'll also be diving into content that goes back all the way from season 1 to season 39. Now, if that interests you, I do have a video already up on patreon.com/angelcakevids covering the worst daily challenges. I go through and I pick the worst daily challenge from each and every season, starting from season 1 all the way up to season 39. I also have a ton more video content over there as well. So again, if you are interested or would like to or are interested, I'm also going to be looking into doing some interviews as well. But here are some of the stuff that is over here. We got live streams, Bakery After Hour live streams, challenge interviews, premium premium commentary videos, reality TV wrap-ups, challenge workouts, premiere challenge vids, old interviews as well, but also a ton of other interviews. See, I have the worst daily challenges from every single season from 1 through 39, and a whole bunch of other videos that will be here as well. And I'm going to be adding to this as well. These are all available to the $5 tier patrons. If you're interested or have any questions, please let me know. But thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was incredible. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your continued support. And please be on the lookout for all the content that will be coming out very, very soon. Again, I'll be putting out a cast reveal video for season 40 up tomorrow. Whenever a trailer drops, I'll be doing a shot-for-shot breakdown. And then a whole bunch of shorts, as well as weekly content here. And then multiple videos and multiple content over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you again for joining me. This was incredible. Y'all were incredible. Thank you so much for joining me on a Monday night, in particularly. A Monday night. All y'all showed up. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to my mods, Demetria, Lovable Nikki, and Chris for hanging out and making sure everybody is pretty chill. Thank you so much for everybody sharing your thoughts, doing the Google form, looking through my... hanging out with my slideshow with me that I worked so hard on this morning, as well as just hanging out. I loved seeing everybody in the chat. Y'all are incredible. I hope everybody has a great night. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. I will be going through comments over the videos that I've put out already, so be on the lookout. I'm going to be going through all the comments for all the posts and everything, so I really appreciate it. But thank you so much. You're incredible. Thank you so much for your support, whether you're a part of the bakery or just watching on YouTube. I thank you so much. I'm going to have so much more content to come. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.